Welcome back to the virus within Resident Evil. In this video, we'll be discovering the lore behind the most notorious virus in the Resident Evil franchise, the T-Virus. As always, this information is collected from the video games themselves, the Wikipedia, and Project Umbrella. This video is going to be a two-parter, maybe even three, for it's so much information on the T-Virus. But I want to thank everyone who supported the first episode. That motivated me to complete this video, and I apologize that it took so long. But without further ado, let's get started. In the previous episode, we discovered that the progenitor virus is the beginning base, or the predecessor to all others. Think of mother virus. Well, the T-Virus is one of several daughter viruses, and the discovery of the virus was all thanks to a single researcher, Dr. James Marcus. Now, the T-Virus, as I mentioned in the prologue, have so much information behind it. What we're going to talk about in this episode are the 3 stages before the outbreak. That way we can see the process unfold after it's developed from the progenitor virus, but before it was released inside Raccoon City. In September of 1977, in the African lab of Umbrella, Dr. James Marcus injected the progenitor virus inside leeches. After a lot of selective breeding, Dr. Marcus discovered that the virus positively recombined with leech's DNA, creating a new strain capable of keeping the host alive while in a clinically dead state. Now, these leeches showed signs of rapid mutations, heightened intellect, and mimicry abilities in the results. This sparked a fascination with Dr. Marcus, as a new strain could potentially create a BOW host. Leech DNA also had favorable properties, which consisted of nerve regeneration and metabolic attributes that allowed a leech to survive in the absence of oxygen in substance or survive off its own dead tissue. A month later, Marcus used the newly recombined virus to conduct experiments using insects, amphibians, and mammals. Now, his goal was to narrow down a list of efficient test subjects. Marcus was extremely pissed when these experiments failed, but he noticed that mammals presented the most potential of refinement due to their intelligence. Later, Marcus deduced that further development of the virus could not be completed without using humans as a mammalian host. So this motherfucker began using company employees and junior executive candidates as test subjects. No bullshit. In January of 1978, with the properties of leech DNA, Dr. Marcus completed development of the T-Virus through human testing, which led to the creation of the humanoid BOW, the zombie. Now, he planned to perfect the BOW and present it to the Umbrella headquarters in order to upstage Spencer and regain his status as an Umbrella founder and establish his position as the company's top scientist. However, Spencer is about that life. Okay, he's not to be fucked with. Spencer ordered the only 2 people that Marcus trusted to steal a sample of his new virus, and those were his students, William Birkin and Albert Wesker. After that whole incident, Spencer closed the training facility and promoted Wesker and Birkin as chief scientists in charge of the T-Virus project in the Arklay laboratory. Meanwhile, Marcus continued his own research in the abandoned training facility. In July of 1978, Wesker and Birkin arrived at the Arklay laboratory as chief researchers in charge of the facility's T-Virus project. Spencer supplied a massive budget and many personnel to advance the project and used subtle manipulation to influence the 2 chiefs to succeed. Now, during this time, the Ebola virus was recently discovered, And Birkins incorporated Ebola genes to improve the DNA mutation properties of the T-virus by increasing the effectiveness of the T-virus to 90% of humans. Well, why is that? Why use the deadly Ebola virus? Well, according to Wesker's report, many people studied the Ebola virus and it came down to two categories. Those who researched the virus in order to help people, and those who researched the virus in order to engineer bioweapons. Though it was illegal to research the virus as a weapon, Umbrella pretended to research that motherfucker as a method of prevention. In 1981, it became clear that due to genetic differences between each human, the virus had a compatibility issue. And that meant, even though the virus was effective in 90% of humans, the other 10% would remain unaffected. And Spencer, well, we all know this motherfucker wanted effectiveness of 100%. So eventually, the researchers extracted a new beta 1 strain capable of creating the dog base Cerberus. And sometime after, they created and stabilized the beta 2 strain and successfully reached the project's second stage. The T-virus had the ability to make gene synthesis between different species comparatively easy. Genetic combination between two or more living things was frequently conducted throughout the second stage. So not only did they incorporate T-virus genetic manipulation, but they also used genetic information of other creatures. By combining the properties and characteristics of each individual creature, Umbrella was able to create hybrid creatures with superior abilities. Although combination of different species groups at a gene level, as we all learned in biology, is naturally unstable, the T-virus made it very, very possible. One genetic hybrid formulated by William Birkin was a combination of human DNA and reptile DNA, and this created a BOW that was combat-focused and capable of exterminating humans who possessed antivirus weapons and equipment. These were later known as the Hunters. Another hybrid BOW was created by combining human and fly DNA, which are known as Chimera. In 1988, the T-virus project entered into its third stage. Tensions between Marcus and Spencer became so great that Spencer ordered Wesker and Birkin to assassinate him and steal his research. Again, they then used his research to assist their own. Based on the results of the various findings, the Arklay laboratory began development on a more advanced combat-focused BOW. Birkin proposed the Tyrant Project. The conception of an ultimate life form compliant with commands, considered to be the project's final goal, and named after the virus that were created. Although the T-virus had a groundbreaking property to instantly evolve a creature, it was still regarded as questionable since creatures were unable to endure the dramatic physical changes and often die. Due to this effect, research had reached a dead end. As a way out, a method was devised to use an adult male with the physical strength and the immune system like Magic Johnson as a host. However, although the beta 2 strain for producing zombies and hunters was adaptable for almost all humans, the virus side effect considerably decayed the brain tissue, and subjects could not become a tyrant without maintaining some intelligence. In order to overcome the problem, Birkins extracted a new variant which suppressed influence on the brain to a minimum if it completely adapted. However, there were extremely few humans who could adapt to this variant. In order for research to progress and develop a new strain which will allow more humans to become tyrants, a human with full adaptation to this variant was needed. Despite gathering test subjects close to this ideal genetic pattern by force, of course, come on, we knew this shit was gonna happen, it's Umbrella. the project was left at a standstill for 3 more years. While the Tyrant project was at a standstill, Albert Wesker was interested in the Nemesis parasite developed by the Umbrella in Europe. He convinced Birkin to administer the prototype of the virus into the Arklay Laboratory's main test subject, Lisa Trevor. If you guys don't recall, she's the daughter of the Manch's architect and the main test subject to the progenitor virus, now T-virus. After Birkin administered the parasite, something unexpected happened. All right, her body absorbed the parasite shortly after it reached her brain. Birkins disregarded everything, all data on Lisa, and conducted a thorough research, at which point he discovered that Lisa genes harbored a vastly recombined T-virus. A new virus was extracted, the G-virus, and Birkin studied it over the next 3 years. And this is where I'm going to halt the video for now. Next time we come back, we'll discuss some of the test subjects after the 3-year freeze, the outbreak in Raccoon City, of course, and the properties and characteristics of the T-virus. To quickly conclude this video, stage 1, the T-virus was in its infant stage. Also, testing on leech DNA and other species occurred. Stage 2, the combining of 2 or more species is conducted to create combat-focused BOWs. Stage 3, developments for a new strain to allow humans to become tyrants without sacrificing their intelligence begins. And real quick, before you guys click off the video, I just want to take this time to thank everyone for their support on the previous video. You guys are amazing. I mean, I really mean it. You guys are fucking dope. I can't believe you actually liked it. If I could, I would take you all out for drinks and maybe my younger viewers maybe go karting. But seriously, thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for part 2.